What's going on, guys? Sticks here with the Token Minorities, bringing you the battle for Week 8 of Season 7 of the CPC, and this week we are up against my good buddy Andrew, aka Muse the Best, and his Kentucky Fried Dragons. And before I get into the team, just a reminder that if you guys like this video, please leave a like, drop a comment, click that subscribe button as it helps us out a lot, and lets us do more cool stuff for you guys. But anyway, on to the team. Like I said, we are up against Andrew, and quite frankly, just looking at this matchup on paper, I really like my electric types in this game, just because the only immunity he has to them is going to be Sand Slash, which can be worn down very quickly and pretty easily by the team, all things considered. So yeah, my whole game plan in this one is going to be just pressure the absolute crap out of him with my electric types, use Charizard to break, and then have my defensive stuff just be able to handle whatever he might try to do to counterplay me. And that's really just the whole game plan, just pressure the crap out of him with my electric types, as I do think that they are the way to beat him. So it's just a very straightforward strategy, and Charizard, plain and simple, does not have any switch-ins on his team. Because as you will see in this matchup, I actually am afforded the ability to run Adamant, and yeah, in Adamant Flare Blitz, like the only thing he has to switch into that is Alomomola, and well, guess what? Electric types absolutely love Alomomola because it is a very nice thing to switch in on in order to get momentum. So that's really what this whole strategy is going to be based around. The first mon we are bringing this week is going to be Tapu Koko with Grass Knot, Volt Switch, Dazzling Gleam, and Roost. I mean, I know he has some huge threats in Celesteela, Mega Diancie, and Dragonite, but the thing is, what do all those have in common? They all are, well, they're all not immune to electric, and in one case it's actually really weak to it, or not really weak, it is Celesteela. Like, even a super effective move hits it basically neutrally half the time. But yeah, Tapu Koko puts insane pressure on his team. Grass Knot is there just to try to take out a weakened Sand Slash. I'm thinking that if he's going to be bringing Sand Slash, it is going to be a Spadef variant, so that's kind of what I'm thinking with Tapu Koko, just the ability to go Grass Knot, Volt Switch, Dazzling Gleam, and Roost to just cover his team. Roost is so if he does bring a Alomomola to switch into his Charizard, well then Tapu Koko can come in on that pretty easily, Roost up and Volt Switch out, and if he doesn't bring a Alomomola, well then happy birthday to me. The speed is enough to creep Crobat, creeping me, creeping Sneasel, so just kind of, I looked at, okay, where can I get a good Life Orb number, 309, and it just so happened that that was a good creep as well, like kind of matched my general aggressive creep, so I just rolled with it, and then I can also max out my special attack in the process. Grass Knot and Volt Switch is, well, Volt Switch, spammable against this team, Grass Knot is for Sand Slash, whereas Dazzling Gleam is nice for things like Breloom, Sneasel, Dragonite, and Dragonite, I'm going to have to worry about that just in case it is a not a multi-scale. Of course it's going to be multi-scale. In case it's like a weakness policy, so I have to wait for that thing's multi-scale to be broken before I start firing off Dazzling Gleams, which is also why I love running Volt Switch. Next up, we have a defensive Tangrowth with Leech Seed, HP Ice, Giga Drain, and Knockoff with the Rocky Helmet, mainly for the Breloom, but also this thing is so fat it takes hits from Sneasel, which is super nice. Physical Diancie is not a problem if I have a physical Tangrowth, and then Celesteela and Dragonite are both equally annoyed by this thing. Yeah, Dragonite does have like Z-Fly, but I also have things like Skarmory to be able to take the Z-Fly as well. So yeah, Tangrowth, Skarmory, and Swampert form a very formidable core against him, so I'm just going to be looking to try to exploit that as well as possible. Leech Seed, his only switch in is Breloom. Well, Breloom really does not like coming in on Leech Seed. Yeah, he has Reuniclus too, so I forgot. Reuniclus is a good switch in to Leech Seed, but I also have Knockoff to be able to deal with that thing. HP Ice for the Dragonite, so it can't set up on me. And then Giga Drain's just kind of nice for like the DNC Alomomola. Just kind of a move if I want to spam it, I can just go ahead and go for that. The defense is enough to live a +2 Breloom's natural gift with a Lancet Berry, which turns it into flying after rocks. The special attack is just kind of a jump point in the damage to Dragonite, and then I threw the rest into special defense. the second mon in my defensive core is going to be a specially defensive Skarmory with Iron Head, Defog, Roost, and Whirlwind. This is going to be one of my main ways of taking on Diancie. The combination of Skarmory and Swampert can take on Diancie rather well, and also Skarmory plus Tangrowth can take on Dragonite. So just having these 3 mons as my defensive core will be very, very, very nice for the ability to just kind of, well, for the ability to take on the threats of his, and then also be able to defog for the Charizard, which is a huge threat against the team, and then Whirlwind around just to kind of shuffle things, get beneficial matchups, etc., etc. Iron Head obviously is for Diancie because, I mean, if I'm going to have Skarmory take on Diancie, I can't have Skarmory be beaten by Diancie. I mean, just kind of makes sense. Defog is for Zard support, Roost for obvious reasons, and then Whirlwind mainly for things like Reuniclus, because Skarmory is also my switch into Reuniclus. And if he tries to bring, like, Call Out that I'm not going to be bringing Zoroark, which I'm not, and bring something like a Calm Mind, Acid Armor, Recover, Mono Psychic set, then Skarmory can come in, Roost up, take like 30% from a +1 Psychic, and then Whirlwind that thing out. So really it's just like not a threat, and I just had to make sure that Reuniclus is never in a last mon situation against things like Swampert and my Skarmory. So that's mainly what Skarmory is there for. The special defense lives 2 power gems from full, and by extension 2 HP fires from full, and then I just threw the rest into HP and defense. Now, rounding out my Diancie control is going to be a Stealth Rock, Roar, Scald, Protect, Swampert, and Swampert is very much along the same lines as the Skarmory. Scald is nice and spammable against his team, can fish for burns against switch-ins, like you might try to go into Dragonite, Crobat, Alomomola, Celesteela just to pressure me, but Scald is very nice with those things. Getting up rocks against him is huge for particularly breaking the Dragonite's multi-skill, but also just wearing down things like Celesteela and Mega Diancie, all of those, Sneasel in particular. So that's super nice. Roar, just like Whirlwind, particularly for Reuniclus, but also shuffling, getting beneficial matchups, and then Protect in case he tries to blow his Z move with like Typhlosion or Dragonite against my Swampert. I do have a way of just being like, yeah, that's not going to hit me. So the Spadef is enough to avoid a 2-hit KO from a modest Moonblast, I believe, from full. Swampert is super bulky, and then Scald will be able to put it in range of a Life Orb Volt Switch from my Tapu Koko, and then I threw the rest into defense. Now, the second mon in my offensive core is going to be Alolan Raichu with the Psyche MZ with Volt Switch, Thunderbolt, Psychic, and HP Ice. This is much in the same vein as Tapu Koko, as I do just like Volt Switching around like crazy. Psyche MZ over Electrium MZ just because Sandslash is one of those things that can, well, is the only thing of his that can stop my Electric spam and Electric Momentum spam against him. So just a Psychic into Psyche MZ kills a careful Sandslash. Granted, it wouldn't be Assault Vest, but I mean, like, if it's Assault Vest, well, then that's a lot easier to wear down than Leftovers. But yeah, generally just a careful Sandslash with Leftovers, Psychic into Psyche MZ knocks that thing out, and once that thing's gone, Volt Switch spam is 100% free. And then Thunderbolts if I need to stay in or need a stronger electric move, and HP Ice is good for the Dragonite. In case you haven't noticed, Dragonite is a big threat against me. Now, the investment on Raichu, I obviously started off with modest max special attack, just because, I mean, that hits as hard as possible, but then I went kind of like with the creep. I was like, okay, let's go ahead and figure out, like, okay, Nidoking hits about 269, I can creep him, creeping me, creeping something, creeping modest Nidoking. So that's ultimately what I went for, and it just so happened that if I throw the rest into defense, well, then Raichu is able to live a +1 Adamant Extreme Speed from Dragonite from full, well, not from full, from after rocks. So that just happened to be a perfect benchmark that I was just like, huh, neat. Well, let's roll with that. And so yeah, that's the Raichu set, just a lot into defense and then max special attack. And finally, we have the no switch-ins on his team except for Alomomola, which I can exploit the crap out of. Charizard with Dragon Claw, Dragon Dance, Roost, and Flare Blitz. I went in between like Sub and Dragon Claw, because I mean, you guys know I love me some Sub Charizard with Dual Stab and Roost, but in this instance, I was like, you know what? If I get the Diancie chip down just a little bit and he doesn't bring Alomomola, and I'm in against like a Reuniclus, that is a free Dragon Dance, and I can just blow his team away. So that's kind of what I was going for with this Charizard. But even if I never get a Dragon Dance up, Flare Blitz without the Alomomola has no switch-ins. Mega Diancie is 2-hit KO'd by Flare Blitz. Now granted, I am scared out, but I have things like Swampert and Skarmory to take that thing out. I'm not overly worried. So yeah, just Charizard, Flare Blitz equals something is going to die, and then Roost gives me some longevity, able to take on things like the Reuniclus, and then Dragon Dance increases my odds of sweeping, and Dragon Claw is just good coverage against the rest of his team. The speed is enough to speed creep something, speed creeping Modest Nidoking, so similar type of speed creep, max attack, HP to where I had an odd number, and then the rest into special defense. So yeah, that is a team, and let's just go ahead and hop right on over to the battle. Alrighty, here we are in the battle, and the first thing I'm noticing is that not only is there no Dragonite, but there is no Crobat, so those are both very nice to see, and additionally, once Sandslash is gone, Volt Switch just basically murks something on his team whenever I have the opportunity to go for that, so definitely going to prioritize getting rid of Sandslash, and unfortunately he did bring the Alomomola, which means Charizard is going to be a little less free, but at the same time, Alomomola can be exploited by the switch-ins that I have into like Koko, Tangrowth, Skarmory, all of those, even Swampert to a lesser extent. But yeah, so let's just go ahead and hop right into it. I am going to lead with my Koko as he leads with his Reuniclus, and from turn 1, I'm just going to immediately go for a Volt Switch, try to get some information on this Reuniclus, as it does turn out that he is a max HP variant, but it doesn't look like there is any Spadef, so more than likely he's going to be like a Calm Mind set. Oops, accidentally reset there instead of pressing play. But yeah, you're just going to see me leading off with Koko as he leads with Reuniclus again, so my bad on that. But yeah, leading off with Koko, going for Volt Switch to get some information off on this Reuniclus. He is a max HP variant, and so I'm just going to go straight into my Swampert, as I can get up rocks for free. Sandslash cannot come in easily, as I can just go ahead and scald that thing if I want to. And Reuniclus, I just kind of want to scout out what type of set this is, as he does go for the Calm Mind. So I'm like, okay, this is a Calm Mind set. And instead of just letting Swampert stay in and roar the Reuniclus out, which is kind of what Swampert is designed to do. Like if I have both Swampert and Skarmory at high HP, then I will be able to take on his Mega Diancie just fine. But I got a little bit greedy at this point and decided to go straight into my Skarmory to take a little less damage from Psychic than I would on Swampert, and unfortunately that is going to bite me in the butt. As he does go for Psychic, that does a whole lot of jack, meaning that he has not invested something that's just like a max HP, max defense. And then I'm going to go straight for the Roost, as he drops a +1 Electric Terrain Thunder on my Skarmory and gets the Para. So yeah, me getting greedy right there with Skarmory was a very bad decision. I should have just let Swampert take the single Psychic, which now I'm not only going to have to let Swampert take one Psychic, I'm going to have to let him take two. So by me getting greedy and not just roaring out this Reuniclus with my Swampert immediately, I am going to unfortunately suffer the consequences. And this is kind of weird, there's no background. Let's see if I can fix that really quickly. Okay, much better. But yeah, I do roar him out into Diancie, and had I just stayed in with the Swampert immediately instead of trying to get greedy and take a little bit less damage, I ended up taking not only a Thunder and Para on my Skarmory, but 2 +1 Psychic. So yeah, that's actually looking really, really bad, as those are my answers to Mega Diancie, which, lo and behold, has come in. So that is very, very unfortunate. I'm just going to take this opportunity right now, go straight for Protect, try to get back some lefties so that maybe, depending on this Diancie's investment, I can take a Moonblast or at least force it into a roll, even though I really doubt I would be able to take a Moonblast from this range if he was max special attack. So I'm just going to go for the Scald. Doesn't do a whole lot, but now my Swampert is getting back to better and better HP. I'm not going to mess around with this Reuniclus. I'm going to do what I should have done before, and that's immediately roar. Oh, and by the way, forgot to mention, he should have Mega'd on turn 1, but it actually does not end up mattering in the grand scheme of the game. Like, had it mattered, then we would have gone back and redone up to the point where he Mega'd. I wouldn't take a forfeit over that. Like, that's just, that's dumb. Like, there's no reason to take a forfeit over that. But either way, so yeah, he should have Mega'd. He didn't. We move on. But anyway, I do bring out his Celesteela as I roar that thing in, and now that I'm in Torrent range, I'm just going to fire off a Torrent-boosted Scald, see if I can get like a burn on the Celly or wear that thing down. As Reuniclus comes in, takes a good chunk from that, and is burned. Now, I'm thinking that, okay, Swampert's kind of low. He's probably going to recover at this point, because I showed that last time I was in against Reuniclus, I would protect immediately. So I take this opportunity, go straight into my Charizard, and then double out into my Tapu Koko, because like I said at the very beginning, my game plan is to get Sandslash out of the way so that my electric types can just spam Volt Switch, because once I'm able to do that, I will win the game. And the reason I wanted to bring Alomomola in was because Grass Knot would be a 100% safe play against that thing, as, I mean, it really just, like, okay, so had I tried to go for Grass Knot against, like, a Celesteela or Diancie, that has potentially deadly, that could backfire really, really badly, as I could lose my Koko. Against the Alomomola, that thing's not going to do jack to me, and even if it goes for a Scald, I can still roost that off. So Grass Knot hits Alomomola super effectively, not for a lot of damage, but a decent chunk, and I am able to hit the Sandslash on the switch with a Life Orb Grass Knot that does 30%. The Sandslash is 100% Assault Vest, so I'm just going to get out of dodge, go straight into my Tangrowth, try to wear this thing down with Rocky Helmet a little bit, as he does go for the Rapid Spin, and yeah, like, the lower the Sandslash gets, the better that will be, because now he's in range of, I believe, Z Raichu, or 2 Grass Knots from Koko. I knock off on the switch as I'm like, okay, the Sandslash is not staying in, and even if he does stay in, well, getting rid of his Assault Vest just means that Koko can one-hit KO it with Grass Knot. Like, I can just spam Volt Switch if he wants to come in. Well, that's a free Grass Knot for me, and I will come out on top of that situation. Sneasel comes in, knock off his Life Orb. I know Sneasel's not going to do jack to me. It does 36% with a super effective Icicle Crash, so my Tangrowth is able to 1v1 this Sneasel, as he does take my Rocky Helmet, unfortunately, and I will come out of this exchange with the Sneasel dead, and my Tangrowth still at above 50% once I switch out with Regenerator. So I am now up 6-5. He brings in his Celesteela. That is kind of scary for me, but I am going to go straight into my Charizard, as I can take like a Leech Seed, threaten a Flare Blitz against his team, that type of thing, as he autotomizes, and I'm like, oh boy, this is going to be rough. Luckily, he's not Z Celesteela, otherwise a Tectonic Rage could be very scary, but he's not, so I know Earthquake isn't going to be able to one-hit KO me without a crit, and I even managed to live the Flare Blitz recoil from that, so that's another huge threat that is just down. But now Alomomola comes in, and I was like, okay, Zard, like, I was accepting the fact that I would probably trade Zard for Selly, but Zard didn't go down, and I was like, okay, he's just going to go into Mega Diancie, and I'm going to lose my Zard, not going to be able to recover up later in the game, etc., etc. But when he went into Alomomola, I was like, well, I mean, I can take a Toxic, I can take a Scald, so I do just get the opportunity to roost up as he goes for Wish, and now I'm just going to go straight into my Swampert to try to get my rocks back up. If he wants to try to pass it into Sandslash, that's fine. I will be able to beat it 1v1, but he does just go straight for the Toxic, so that's beneficial for me, as he has to waste another turn going for Wish while I can get my rocks up. And now, knowing that he's more than likely going to try to pass it to Sandslash, I'm going to fire off a Torrent boosted Scald. Even though Sandslash has the Assault Vest, it's not going to be able to take this, and Sandslash will go down right there. So now I'm up 6-3 and looking in a very, very good position. Like, Volt Switch basically just gets a kill against his team, but I have to be very, very careful around that Reuniclus, because that thing, I cannot let it set up, as Charizard is my only way of dealing with it if it gets a Calm Mind up, as my special attackers don't do a whole lot to it otherwise. Goes into his Diancie, KOs my Swampert, which is fine, but now I'm going to go for the Volt Switch on the DNC. It doesn't quite kill. I'm going to sack off my Skarmory to what I'm assuming is going to be like a Moonblast or a Power Gem or something like that, as he goes for the Earth Power. And I was like, huh, well, neat, I get to now die to a Power Gem, more than likely, but he goes to the Power Gem, and I live on 1%, don't get full parried, and I'm able to get the Roost off. So now, suddenly, without Electric Terrain, Reuniclus cannot KO Skarmory with a Roost, so I do want to keep that thing around. As it's going to be nice for potentially whirlwinding Reuniclus later in the game if I need. Actually, no, with a +1, because it'd be super effective. I roosted last time. Never mind, he'd probably still kill. But still, like, just the fact that he has to go for Thunder, has the chance to miss, I decided to do that. So I killed his Diancie with my Raichu right there, and this might look like a weird play, but I go into my Charizard and take Rocks, which might seem unnecessary, but I wanted to force the Alomomola in. I knew Charizard at even 40% would be able to do the job that I needed it to do for me to win the game. Basically, if I went into like Koko or Tangrowth or something, he would potentially be able to get up to +1 on me with his Reuniclus. So basically, I just had to force the Alomomola in, not the Reuniclus, so I can have a situation late game where Zard is in against an unboosted Reuniclus and I do have the chance to win. So I mean, that ends up working out for me, as I am just going to switch out into my Skarmory and Roost up as he fires off a Scald. I'm a Spit F Skarm. That is going to do absolutely nothing to me, and I just have to hope that I don't get like triple parrot or something like that but it goes for Scald once again. It's fine, it's not doing anything to me. I'm going to roost up, and then I am going to end up defogging away these rocks, as I already have had rocks do what they needed to do against his team. Now they're just hindering my Charizard, and I do think that once Alomomola goes down, Charizard will be able to win the game, and all I have to do to force a KO is to go into Tapu Koko right now. Whatever he wants to go for is fine with me. I mean, he gets me on the switch, like, good on him. But it really doesn't ultimately matter, as I can just spam Volt Switch, and unless he gets like a... I think he needs a quadruple protect. Or it might be a triple. It might be... So, yeah, he got 1, 2... I think he needs a triple protect and then me to die to Life Orb in order to be able to win this game at this point. Yeah, because that would do... Actually, no, I think he would need the... He would need a quadruple protect for poison to knock me out. But either way, Volt Switch knocks out the Alomomola. I am able to go into my Charizard, and I will be able to 2-hit KO the Reuniclus, so he can either kill me or he can recover up. Either way, I keep him from being able to... basically, I keep him from being able to set up, as I actually crit the Flare Blitz, which sucks, because I would have been able to get 2 Flare Blitzes off as he Calm Minds up. But luckily, doesn't end up mattering. Tapu Koko is going to be able to come in and finish the game with a Volt Switch. So we are able to take that game 4-0, and we have officially clinched playoffs. So yeah, that was the game, guys. Hope you enjoyed watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And this is Styx signing out. Why not? See you guys.